Next is the George W. Thorne Award, given to alumni under 40. There's an old saying that goes, youth is wasted on the young. That's certainly not the case when it comes to our next recipient, Mark Travers. Because of his work in tobacco control, and in particular his work on secondhand smoke, Mark has helped people across the U.S. and throughout the world breathe easier. A research professor in the School of Public Health, Mark studies the effects of exposure to smoke pollution and evaluates the results of smoke-free air policies. His major efforts involve measuring the level of particulate matter in the air in public venues where smoking is allowed, in restaurants, in bars. He's conducted the largest study of tobacco smoke pollution in the hospitality industry, and his results have been featured in national debates. He is also a research scientist at Roswell Park Cancer Institute, and along with his colleagues, is conducting a global air monitoring effort measuring exposure to tobacco smoke pollution in more than 40 countries. Mark has been published extensively in the scientific literature. He is the author or co-author of 42 peer-reviewed journal articles and 88 technical reports. He also speaks frequently at national and international conferences and workshops, and more than 1,000 news media outlets have covered his work. Tonight, we congratulate the George W. Thorne Award winner, Mark Travers.
Thank you. It's such a great honor to receive this award. I'm a Buffalo native, and I'm very lucky to have UB right here in my own backyard. UB has given me so much. First of all, a world-class education by some of the preeminent researchers in my fields of epidemiology, community health, and tobacco control. My work has taken me around the country and around the world, and the reputation of the University of Buffalo, Roswell Park Cancer Institute, and my professors always precedes me. The faculty that trained me and I continue to work with have led some of the most important public health studies of our time. The research done here in Buffalo shapes public health policy and the practice of modern medicine. Doctors Giovino, Freudenheim, Witkowski-Wendy, Highland, Cummings, and Kozlowski, just to name a few, have been tremendous influences and role models for me. I just returned from an international conference on tobacco or health in Abu Dhabi, and while there, I overheard a preeminent Australian researcher remark during a conversation, "My goodness, Lynn Kozlowski answered this question 30 years ago." That's the kind of reach that the faculty in our School of Public Health have. Now, UB did one more thing, even more important for me than my education, and that would be my lovely wife, Monsi, who's here today. I met her in my first class in grad school at UB. It took many more years before she finally married me. Actually, before that, it took many failed attempts before she would even go out on a date with me. But this award is every bit as much for her as for me. I never would have made it through grad school here without her, and I'm lucky to work side by side with her at Roswell Park today. We even had a bet in grad school as to who would finish their dissertation first, and needless to say, I lost that. But Monsi continues to support me and my work, even when that work takes me to the other side of the world, and for this I thank you. So, when I was working on my dissertation here at UB, a reporter from the New York Times followed me around to see the work that I was doing. And the article that came out in the Times was titled, "So a Guy Walks into a Bar with an Air Monitor." Now, the story starts, I quote, "It takes a toll being the scientist who measures the air quality in bar after bar around the east and west coasts, wearily checking for smoke particles between beers." My parents must have been so proud when they read that. And obviously, I need to thank my parents who are here for supporting me through college and grad school, especially when they struggled with how spending time drinking in bars was going to lead to fruitful employment one day. Well, those early studies on measuring exposure to tobacco smoke and evaluating our New York State Clean Under Air law have grown into what now is the most commonly used method to measure exposure to secondhand smoke. And I've been lucky enough to train and work with researchers and health advocates in most states in the United States and over 65 countries around the world. And my favorite part about this work is empowering passionate advocates with the tools they need to protect themselves, their families, and their communities from tobacco smoke by pushing policymakers to take action. Tobacco has caused 100 million deaths in the 20th century. If current trends continue, there will be 1 billion deaths worldwide in the 21st century. That's 1 billion with a B. Now, we are fortunate here in New York State to have a smoke-free air law, high taxes on cigarettes, and good cessation support for those who want to quit. This has led to dramatic reductions in smoking rates. Less than 17% of adults and 5% of youth in New York State are smokers. And not all states and countries are so lucky. And in fact, some developing countries have smoking rates approaching 70% of the male population. Needless to say, there's still much work to be done to stem the tide of this global tobacco epidemic. Rest assured that our faculty and students here at UB will continue to be leaders in public health globally, and I am proud to be a part of that. Thank you.